The story begins as the main character named Riku remembers his childhood and how foolish he was as a kid. In that memory we can see him as a young boy as he is playing chess against an unknown character. Then a huge explosion destroys the entire place he was at. He looks to the side, and we can see a purple-haired girl standing on top of the rubble. She has many machine-like components attached to her body and seems to be looking for something in the aftermath of the explosion. After they spot each other, the boy grabs the chessboard and runs away. Instead of pursuing him, she remains there, seeming surprised about the choice of his actions. The following scene is a jump to the present, showcasing two different characters. There is a blonde-haired boy and a dark purple-haired girl with foxy ears. They are playing a game of chess, and the girl seems unaware of the identity of the boy. After the lost match, she demands another rematch, to which the boy agrees but requests that he gets to share a story with her, a story so old that it is forgotten by all except for him, to which the fox girl agrees. We are brought back into the past some 6,000 years. There are three hooded figures running across a desolate wasteland, and they reach some ruins. While their entire bodies are covered up, it is apparent that the leader of the trio is the same white-haired boy from the beginning, while the other two with him are Ivan and Alii. They locate the objective of their mission, information from the previous residents of the ruins, which turn out to be dwarves. The information found had crucial intelligence regarding the war across the world, and they quickly start transcribing it. They intercept a dwarven transmission that shows them planning to deploy extremely devastating bombs. Their mission gets interrupted as the ground starts to quake, as the result of some massive creature moving through it and getting closer to them. Doing their best to escape the place, Riku orders Ivan to sacrifice himself in order to distract the unknown thing. The entire dwarven ruins explode underneath the creature's assault, but Riku and Alii manage to escape. Returning to the humanity's hideout, Riku and Alii are quickly rushed by a girl named Kuran. We quickly learn she is Riku's sister, but their reunion is interrupted by Ivan's young daughter. She runs to greet her father, but he is nowhere to be found. Riku breaks her the news, to which she reacts as one would expect, yelling at Riku and wanting him to be gone in the place of her dad. Riku retreats to his chambers, where he has a breakdown. In the following scene, we see Riku traveling to a place they learned about thanks to their last mission. It is the ruins of an ancient elven capital, and from his examination of the destruction, Riku concludes that the Flugel race is most likely the culprit behind it. Exploring the ruins, he notices something is off, and readies himself for combat just before something flies at him. That something turns out to be a machine-like girl, very similar to the one from the start of the movie. Identifying her to be an ex machina, he reasons with himself that it is for the best to not show hostility. To his surprise, the purple-haired ex machina plants a kiss on his lips and requests to procreate with him. The ex machina speaks in a very robotic manner, explaining the purpose of each sentence before saying it. She explains to Riku that she's tasked with studying the language of the heart that humans possess. Producing a holographic chessboard, the ex machina requests a game of chess with Riku, with either win or loss scenario being that she is permitted to come along with him. She wants to learn more about the language of the heart. Riku decides that having her around couldn't make things any worse than they are, and accepts the match. Instead of the chess match, next we see Riku and the ex machina arriving at the hideout. Riku covers up her mechanical parts with a hooded cloak and instructs her to modify her speech pattern so she would sound more like a girl. Finally, she needs a name, so after a short back and forth, they decide on the name Shuai. Upon return, Kuran quickly takes a liking to Shuai, who poses as a girl. Back in Riku's quarters, he and Shuai are alone talking with each other. Shuai offers tactical information on the Great War that is raging if he beats her in chess. Riku states that his primary concern is the safety and survival of his people, as they are too weak to fight in the war anyway, lacking the ability to utilize the spirit circuits, which other races use to gain magic-like abilities and overwhelming power. They quickly have an argument, and Riku tells her that her kind started those wars, and took away everything from humanity. Her race now wants to dissect humans to find out what lies in their hearts. Shuai also wonders how humans even manage to survive that long, because she thinks humans are stupid and inferior species. Shuai notices Riku's frustration and grief, but fails to comprehend what causes it. Pushing himself away, he hides underneath his blanket and weeps in sorrow. Shuai observes him, and we can see by the expression on her face that she begins to feel. Sometime later they go to the bath where Riku washes Shuai. They both apologize to each other and Shuai confesses that she is asking him to play chess because she wants to see him smile more. Emotions seem to be awakening inside of Shuai as she's unable to analyze why she is making those decisions. At the same time, Kuran is tidying up Riku's room and finds a strand of Shui's hair, quickly realizing it doesn't belong to a human. Riku and Shuai return back to the elven ruins to explore them further, finding a powerful secret weapon that the elves made and kept hidden. As they were analyzing what they found, the ruins' residual defenses kicked in and attacked them. Shuai put herself in danger to protect Riku, but was left mostly undamaged by the blast, displaying to Riku the Ex Machina's ability to analyze and replicate any attacks. Reaching the exit, they see that a powerful ash storm is raging which delays their return, so in order to kill some time Riku asks Shuai to play some chess. Even though he keeps losing to Shuai in chess due to her superior intelligence, Riku never gives up and keeps re-challenging her, which gives her more insight into why humans are still around despite the odds. Riku makes a remark how nice it is to have someone around, making it apparent that he is getting attached to Shuai. Before they leave, he asks her to tell him more about the war so they might think of a way to end it, and we see them talking about it. After that, Riku starts to believe he could stop this never-ending fight. Then a big explosion is seen near the human hideout, and the humans are evacuating. Riku's sister takes over the command of their place, while Riku goes off with Shuai recruiting more people into his division of ghosts. Ghosts are people who are officially considered dead, so they can act in the shadows and manipulate with the other races. His speech is stirring and a lot of people join his unit. Even Shuai is impressed by his determination, despite the odds to win are lower than 1%. Riku explains to her that chances only work if the game is not rigged, and that he plans to cheat to manipulate humankind's odds so they can only win. Following his talk about the poor odds, Riku uses that chance to profess his love to Shuai, asking her to marry him. Shuai refuses at first, stating that she isn't worthy of it, as she is one of the units that destroyed his home in the beginning. Riku says that he already knew that, remembering that the first time she saw him he took his chessboard with him, before running away. Placing an engagement ring on her finger, Riku repeats his proposal, asking Shuai to walk with him as his wife. Shuai starts crying and accepts the proposal. During the ceremony, it becomes apparent that Kuran already knew that Shuai was not human, but she didn't mind, trusting in Riku's decision. Riku plans to game the other races to achieve peace. It is like a chess game to him. Getting his plan in motion, the ghosts begin to make their moves, spreading word to the elves and dwarves about each other's powerful weapons. That way they force all non-human races to make a tactical withdrawal from the continent, leaving behind only humans. The other continent was also home of the mighty Flugel race. Unfortunately, to successfully deal with the other races who were using spirit magic, they covered their bodies with the deadly ash. That protected them from the magic, but was quickly killing them as well. Since Riku took too long dealing with the elves, his body was in a bad shape after returning, but thanks to Shuai he lived. Continuing with the strategy, the ghosts manipulated all the other races except for Flugel. We can see Riku covered in bandages, but his plan is working, and they are getting closer to the final confrontation. From the information he got thanks to Shuai, he learned that the gods are battling each other so they could get to the Suniaster. Apparently, the old deus who attains the Suniaster becomes the one true god and gets to rule over the others. In order for the Suniaster to appear, the god needs to show the greatest, unrivaled power on the planet, hence the old deus are all thinking to kill the other ones. However, Riku's plan is to use their way of thinking and have them unleash those devastating weapons upon each other all at once, then harness the force of it to blast a hole straight into the planet itself, destroying the spirit conduits which the other races as well as the old deus use for their spirit magic, clarifying that the old deus were born from the planet themselves, so a power that would surpass that would instantly qualify for the Suniaster to appear. Once Suniaster appears, a true god would be chosen and the planet would be reborn under its rule. Riku explains that together with Shuai, they have been placing her parts, which she can create with spirit magic, in order to use her ability to manipulate the direction of an attack and direct the blast towards the center of the planet. Riku collapses from exhaustion after the long explanation. Once Riku regains consciousness, he sends his sister back to the colony to watch over it. Riku tells Shuai how happy he is because he got her, and that she is his strength. He then leaves the hideout to finish the preparations alone. While Shuai is setting up the parts for the plan, she is discovered by a Flugel warrior. Shuai says she does not want to fight, but the strong angel-like foe is determined to harvest Shuai for knowledge. Shuai tries to plead for her life, but that only incites the Flugel even further and a fight breaks out. From the start it is evident that Shuai doesn't stand a chance, and she quickly realizes the same. In a desperate attempt to survive and salvage Riku's plan, she establishes communication with the other Ex Machina, insisting that her mission is complete. At first she is dismissed, but the more she keeps insisting, the more her abnormal status becomes evident and her synchronization begins. To buy time required to finish the synchronization, she is permitted to go full combat mode, much to the surprise of the Flugel she is fighting against. Transforming into a large combat machine, Shuai introduces herself to her foe, and the Flugel responds in kind, where we learn that her name is Jibril. The fight continues, and this time Shuai is able to fight back due to her new combat form, but even that proves not enough to win against Jibril. But it does buy enough time for the synchronization with the collective mind to end. Before she is completely disintegrated by Jibril, Shuai uses her remaining power to shield the engagement ring on her finger from the blast. The explosion is visible from far away, and Riku immediately notices that something is wrong, as Shuai is not there. Not having the strength to carry on, he passes out once again. His sleep is disturbed by a person appearing before him. He introduces himself as Ex Machina, and he delivers Riku Shui's last words and the ring she saved. He mentions that the current plan won't work as it is not finished setting up, but it is enough to just redirect the massive blast towards the direction where he will keep his other Ex Machina, and use their ability to replicate the blast and fire it at the planet. They are ready to sacrifice themselves to see Riku's plan succeed. Riku decides to go through with the plan to honor Shuai's final wish. And so the final battle begins with Ex Machina provoking with the first strike. The three major forces respond as predicted. Even the old Deus, who is the creator of Flugel, descends to increase the power of his race. All the sides unleash their most devastating weapons. The Ex Machina get destroyed by the blast, but manage to analyze and replicate the attack, leaving the trigger of unleashing it in Riku's hands. Riku fires it straight into the planet's center. The plan succeeds, and we see spirit circuits vanishing while the Cineaster manifests in front of Riku. However, as he reaches for it, he is overcome by the massive feeling of guilt about all the sacrifices he made to get here, and his body begins to disintegrate. After taking the Cineaster, the now one true God declares the new rules of the new world. The God ends the wars that plagued the planet for so long, and gives humanity a new name, Humanity. We are brought back to the present, as the fox girl is playing chess against the blonde boy, who we now know is the god of games, as well as the one true god of this world. She questions how truthful this story was, as she is overcome with emotion. Their conversation is cut short as her friends appear, making the god of games disappear before they notice him. Her friends are Shiro, Shora, and Steph. We also learn the fox girl's name is Azuna. She quickly snatches the gem that Steph was carrying all the time on her clothing, turning it over to see if it has any engravings. Sure enough, the engraving on the back exists, but it's unreadable by the group. They choose to summon Jibril, who reads the engraving, revealing the names of Kuran Dola, Riku Dola, and Shuai Dola. Jibril adds that she doesn't recall anyone in Humanity being named Shuai, but doesn't seem to recall anything more. Izuna says how she thinks those names are somehow familiar to her, while having a sad smile. Hey! Thank you for staying all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. It takes only a second, but it means everything to us. Have a great day and see you in the next video.